It's freezing cold and I'm out here for you. Okay, I'm out here for me too. I'm done. I set it up. I want to test this. It is freezing cold. We got a storm coming in, but I wanted to put this together because I get so many questions on soil. My new wall garden is set up. I went with a subtle color. I went with gray. I don't want to talk about that today. What I want to talk about quickly, because it's cold, it's like 40 degrees and we're going to get into the 30s tonight. So I want to talk about just about soil right now. What is soil? Soil is basically two things. It is plant matter, it is rocks that have been crushed. Okay, volcanoes, stuff like that, but we're not having a volcano here. Hope not. The point is, that is what soil is. Soil, compost, dirt. They claim you can't grow in dirt. Somebody told me that. Here is the thing. All these containers have all soil in there that I made for free. All this, everything that Mother Nature gives us, it was all free. Now, if I would have had to go to the store and buy potting soil or garden soil for all my containers, just on this one wall, I estimate each one would take probably 2 bags, probably close to $250 for a mediocre soil. Not the best organic, maybe not the worst, but about $250. Here's the thing. Read the label on the bags. And what does it say? Most of them, forest matter. So what they're doing is they're getting leaves and branches and food matter and food waste, and they get it from all over. They get it from zoos, they get it from farms, they get it from all different places, and they compost it, they let it sit, and they let it do its thing. Well, you can do that too. Everything that you've got on the ground, this is what goes in there. I have a system that over the past few years I figured out works for me. I like growing in totes. You can grow anywhere you want. You could grow in flower pots, you could grow in the ground. And you can use this same system because I have in my bird garden. This is going to be soil. Any plant you want to pull out, these leaves, this is going to be soil. Now, is there a trick to it? Not really. I mean, you can't just pick it and say, oh, I want it to be soil. But you can make your soil. Now, starting off for the first time, if you've got nothing, you can't get grass clippings, you can't get wood chips, you can't get leaves, and you don't have anything, then start off with one tote. Somebody said, oh, I can't set up totes, they're too much money. $5 to $7 for one of these totes. 18-gallon. Don't get yourself a fancy, heavy-duty one that you can dance on if you stack them. You don't want that. You just want a simple tote. Most of these totes are either Sterilite, there's a couple other brands, there's Rubbermaid. They've been made in the United States, and they're generally a 5. 5 is food grade. You go to the grocery store, you get cottage cheese, yogurt, hot food, cold food. You buy a roasted chicken, it's in a tray. Generally, they're 5, sometimes they're 2. And once in a while, you'll see 4. Those are good. Those are good. They are classified organic and safe to use for food. Start with one tote. You can grow a lot in one tote. If you want to just do herbs, you can fill it up with all kinds of herbs. But start with one tote. If putting out, let's say, $30, $40 on totes is too much, go to the thrift stores. They've got tons of totes all the time. People donate clothes, they pack up their totes, and then they drop them off, and they want to get rid of them. They don't have lids. I love lids, but we'll get into that another time. You can get them at the thrift store for like $2. I bought one the other day for $2.50. Now what you're going to do on the cheap is I like to have my holes a little further up because I like to retain water in them because normally we have really dry weather here. I also have it on a chair because we've gone into the roots and we'll go more into roots and critters and stuff. But let's just talk about making soil. Let's say you're not going to plant right now. A lot of you have told me you won't be planting until May. Perfect! perfect. You've got it made. Get a tote, start throwing branches. I love branches on the bottom because it leaves a little bit of airspace in there, so when the water goes through, whatever you put on the top, let's say it turns kind of into muck because you're throwing in all your kitchen scraps, it will go through, go to the bottom and drain. If you put soil, let's say from the ground, mud in there, it will block up your holes. So load it up with branches. Go to a friend's house, have coffee, have tea, drink some wine, and go clean up their yard for them. Collect a bunch of branches, bring home a big bag of branches, and start stuffing wherever you're going to grow. You could do it temporarily in buckets, anything. Cardboard will break down. Cardboard was once alive. It will disappear. So you need something that's plastic. Start to load it up. When you get about this high with branches, start throwing in leaves. Throw in a few more branches. Throw in kitchen scraps, anything you found in the refrigerator. Dump it in. Anything that you're not eating, you're throwing it away, dump it in. You could put in chicken bones and stuff. They don't break down that good, but it gives airspace to earthworms. So if you want to, go ahead. Fish, anything, put it in. Now if you're dealing with rodents, get some native soil and throw it on top. They don't want to eat the dirt. So I don't have any problems with rodents. You saw me do this the other day. Nothing's touched it. Not even the coyotes have come through. They're full of kitchen scraps. Now as you're doing this, and you keep layering and layering, when you get to the top, it would be a good idea to get some cheap potting soil. You know what? Any potting soil you want, you buy the potting soil you want to get and put a small layer, about that much, on the top. Water it and forget it. Now, I want you to treat your tote as if you've got a plant in it, even if you're not planting until May. Because as you are watering it, the microbes, they're just coming. I don't know, nature sends them, are going to start to get in there and break all that stuff down. The first thing they're going to break down are all your kitchen scraps and leaves. They're going to work the dickens out of that, and as that's breaking down, they're going to get to the bottom. And they're going to break all these branches down. The whole thing will be broke down. But you know what? If you were in Southern California or in an area you could grow in, you could grow right now. You're going to grow on the top, and by the time the roots start to get down, it's going to start breaking down. It creates a little bit of heat. So in the winter or in the spring when it's still cold, it creates a little bit of heat. The seeds and plants love it, and it will grow. All that is breaking down. You got your microbes in there, you got your earthworms that will find their way. They will crawl up those legs of the chairs and they will get in there. You want to look for earthworms? Put anything on the ground. Try to find some place where there's some plants. Get a flower pot, put it on the ground, water it, and leave it. Go back in a few days, take a shovel, and take some of that soil and just throw it in there. Your earthworms will start to multiply. You'll have so many earthworms in there. My goodness, you've got all those leaves and kitchen scraps and everything in there. Paper you can throw in there. They're going to just be eaten out away. It is going to be filled with the best plant food that nature can give you. And those plants, when you go get ready to plant, are going to grow. You can create your own plant food. You can create your own soil. This is how you're going to save money. I have saved here hundreds of dollars. I'm telling you, when I moved out here, I had to go out and buy 44 bags of potting soil to get my bird garden started. A while back when I decided to garden, and that was a lot of money. I don't blame you. I was dealing with other things too. Like I said, I don't want to talk about roots and stuff from plants. But I've learned as I've gone along. I've stopped and I've observed Mother Nature. Look around and see what are growing under certain trees. My pepper trees, nothing. The pepper trees don't let anything grow. I started to realize that there's a better way of doing it. And I went this way because it works for me. So what I'm talking about is soil. Soil is matter that was once alive. Soil, think about it, it's animal poop. And I'm not talking about shoveling your dog poop in there. I don't do that. But you think about it. Coyotes, deer, rabbit, squirrels, they're running and they're scattering that around. That's not just dropping and just disappearing and turning into soil. being dispersed very finely. Your leaves from your trees, that is dropping in piles and breaking down like an avocado tree. Drops all those leaves. You can't really grow avocados without having a good layer of top cover, and they love their own leaves. So that's why you can load this up with all of that. Kitchen scraps, that's basically leaves, banana peels, eggshells. Don't worry if you see the eggshells in there. It's a slow release of calcium and minerals in there. And there are so many more things we can get into and how to make this soil so rich. But today I wanted to just say, make your own soil if you can't afford to go buy a ton of soil. It is the easiest thing to make. And you'll know what's in this. I mean, all of these totes here, all of them, all the way to the end, I don't have any potting soil in here. I didn't need to. I still have a wheelbarrow full of soil that I took out. I had to go through all of these because mine got invasive roots from pepper trees as well as pine trees. So I needed to get the roots out. I needed to cut it and do a good thorough cleaning. It's been a couple years and I wanted to get rid of that. But in the meantime, when I took that out, I put in branches on the bottom and then collard leaves and just went around the yard and raked up leaves and threw whatever I found in there. And then on the top, I put the soil back, about that much. That soil is going to work its way through. And think about it, even as things are moving around, some of that soil is going to get through and go to the bottom. And then the whole thing is a new cycle again. It's just going to break down. If I wanted to go back in 2 years from now, this is all going to be potting soil, good starting potting soil, that I could do the same thing and make more. I could set up another 30 totes down there and I'll have my own soil. It is the easiest thing to make. Don't get it from a lawn if they've been spraying weed killer. You don't want that. Anything is safe if you know they haven't put chemicals. If you do have somebody that's got, let's say, donkeys or llamas or horses, you want to get some manure, you can. I don't anymore only because I ended up with a bad batch. Not that it hurt anything, but the donkey was being fed Bermuda grass and there were a lot of seeds in there. It went through and I had to get all that Bermuda grass out, and that was as bad as roots, trying to deal with that. But if you can, you can pile that up and let that break down and then go back later. There's so many things you could do, but just everyday stuff. I'm sure if you're driving around, you see people that are doing their lawn. If they don't have any weed killer, go for it. Raking leaves, getting branches, a limb breaks, break it up into pieces and throw it around. Start piling it up, throw things on top. Remember, anything on the very top is not breaking down. It's only what's right underneath. So you got a little bit of soil on top and then everything underneath is going to break down. Make your own soil. I mean, some of you said, you've got gardens everywhere. I got a chair garden, a rainbow garden, a bird garden, a driveway garden. I'm going to set up another garden in the bird garden. I'm thinking of something here. They've got the truck bed garden. Gary's got his garden. Gary doesn't use any potting soil at all. He creates all his own soil and all of his own plant food. It's really easy. Maybe start with some bags of soil. Maybe start with one tote and then start to build. Eventually, you may not need to buy anything. That will be up to you. There's nothing wrong with buying. Absolutely nothing. But the point is, you will be able to take charge of your own finances and decide on how much you want to spend. I bought these chairs. I got a bunch of chairs people gave me. I saw these at a thrift store for $4. I liked them. They were already brown. I didn't have to paint them. They would blend in here, and I bought them all, and I'm using them. You take charge of your finances. You take charge of your garden. And I'm telling you, you'll garden for life. You won't step back and say, oh, this is too hard, I can't do it. Make it where you don't bend. If you can't bend to the ground, put them up on something. Put them up on bricks. You know those big bricks you can get? They're $1 a piece. So what are you going to need? 4 bricks? There's $4. You want to make it taller? Get 6 bricks. $6. Oh boy, it's starting to rain. That's all I wanted to talk about today is soil. You'll see, I'm going to show you those wheelbarrows. The one wheelbarrow is loaded with collard leaves, branches, stuff I picked off all over the ground. That's going in here. That's what went in here last year on a lot of them, and the year before. And when it came back this year, and I emptied them, there was nothing left. A couple little eggshells and a couple chicken bones I found. That was it. it was all rich, black, organic soil. So I'm trying and hoping I am giving you ideas on how to make your own soil. And again, you can always buy a bag or two, catch it on sale, so you could spread it. If you were going to load it up with stuff from your yard or somebody else's yard, you could spread one bag to 4, 5, 6 totes because you're only going to use a little bit. It's kind of like a starter. You're putting it on the top with all that matter underneath, and then you can start to plant when the time comes. You can plant seeds, you can plant anything you want when the time comes. In the meantime, it's breaking down. And when winter comes, fall comes and you're done, if you don't have snow, just water it. Don't let it completely dry out so everything stays alive in there, and you'll be creating your own soil. You can't beat it. Don't you just love Mother Nature? Don't you? Who's paying her? Somebody said him. Who's paying Mr. and Mrs. Mother Nature to go buy potting soil? She's creating her own all over the place. Maybe he's shoveling for her. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. I got to get in. It's raining. Bye-bye.